What's up, everybody, and welcome to Real Time for the Real Everyday Movie Fan. I'm Ryan Murphy,
And I'm James Sheridan.
and today we are giving you our real-time review of Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 5. And James, I can feel your frustration. We're out of the nebula. We're out of the nebula with the plot's moving forward, but still no Geordi. That's what's really important, right?
No, but we got something else that I joked about last week. I didn't think would actually happen and happened. And because of that, this episode was outstanding.
Okay. What was that? I forget what you were joking about.
Well, we were mentioning that, there's a lack of, Geordi, but also like there's opportunity to bring in other characters that have like long-standing stories and
Hmm.
connections to the TNG crew. And one of the names I threw out there was Ro Laren,
Yeah.
who just came in out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that, and completely changed the landscape of this episode. Um, and like really kind of push further into this plot, starting to connect pieces that were otherwise just kind of off in their own little quadrants of the galaxy.
Mhm.
And now we're starting to see a little bit more of what this story is. And I don't know. I was starting to lose steam on this show. Last week, of course, was a bit of a climax of like everything that had happened in the first couple episodes. This one, I was expecting them to return to, okay, now we're going to go back to more setup, but now they're starting to connect pieces. And
Mhm.
again, this appearance just kind of changed the landscape of everything. And I don't know, I thought it was exciting and really fun. Again, bummer that there's still no Geordi, but now Worf has been reunited with the crew.
Or
And
video,
I mean,
not in
we're going to
person yet.
see them. We're going to see them in person
Yeah,
again too. So,
yeah.
but we're like those pieces are starting to connect, and we understand that that he had been working with Ro this entire time that we
Mhm.
weren't aware of. And I don't know. I think the entire thing's exciting, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's just all I could think of this episode was how much it threw into even more perspective. What a waste of time the last few episodes were. We didn't need to spend 4 episodes in that nebula. Like that was crazy. Like the plot is they go in the nebula, they rescue Beverly and Jack, they come out, and they're like, oh, there's a conspiracy. That this could have been like easily the third episode, easily.
I mean, they
But
they were already like teasing the conspiracy like early on. That's the
yeah,
entire plot with what's her
so
name,
yeah,
Raffi. But like it took them this long to get to this,
yeah,
but
it's
now it's
it's
starting to get interesting. So
now it's starting to get interesting. Yeah, I'm just still bummed about like just because you guys know me, I'm all about like that sort of like cut it up and like dissect the sort of the structure and how long did it take you to get you make it. So there's an old Seth Meyers thing where Seth Meyers was talking about when he was in film school, like because again we're kind of viewing this as sort of a big long movie. If this was Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1987, it'd be an episode by episode thing, but that's not what it is. It's supposed to be like a 10-hour long movie, and it doesn't need to be 10 hours. And I remember Seth Meyers talking about in film school, the professor for like script writing class would always be like, how can you make this shorter? How can you like, how can you just make it as short as you can, basically? And so people would jokingly turn in like scripts that were like 5 pages long, like, hey, it's short. Um, but yeah, just like didn't need to be in that nebula for 4 episodes, but we're out of the nebula. The synopsis for next week's episode is out, and it sounds very, very, very much like Jordy's gonna finally be in this one.
good.
Uh, yeah,
Only took half the
episodes.
season.
Um, Picard summary. Let me see if I can pull it up. Picard and his crew. No, that's the wrong season. Anyway, it says something about like Picard unable to trust anyone else. Picard turns to an old friend. So if that's not Geordi, I'm going to throw my computer at the wall. Uh, um, but yeah, so it's interesting because like the Ro Laren was finally was sort of given this send off in the penultimate episode of the Next Generation, the second to last episode of Next Gen, Preemptive Strike, which Patrick Stewart actually directed in 1994,
I didn't know that.
and uh, well, he directed 5 episodes, so that was one of them. and actually, him and Avery Brooks both have the distinction of being captains that directed the penultimate episodes of their series. So that just a little tidbit of information. But yeah, so it's interesting how they can bring someone back after 29 years, you know, and wrap up sort of a storyline that we didn't feel needed wrapping up, but is like a nice bit of closure on that.
I mean,
It's
there was this sort of lingering thread of like Picard never got closure on that story
Mhm,
because like she just kind of betrayed them and disappeared, and like again, it was never really brought up again. But Ro, towards the end of the series, was such a, I'm not even gonna say popular character, but she was a very present character, and there was a very deeply personal relationship between her and Picard that
mhm,
I always thought was fascinating. And like I've always liked Ro. I've always liked that she was sort of an outsider that was brought in, made part of the family, and um, kind of like challenged a lot of their sort of moral positions. And of course, like her connection to not just this plot with the changelings, but like she was the introduction to the Bajoran conflict and whatnot.
mhm.
She was the introduction to the Maquis, um, to a degree, both of which would branch off into the Dominion War, and then Voyager.
Voyager.
Like she's a very important connection point to those things, even if she wasn't directly involved in those things. She was our first introduction to those things, and
Mhm,
because they became such big parts of the franchise, I feel like she's always been sort of a central and important character that um it's a delight to see her back, especially in like the very standoffish way they kind of introduce each other, because neither of them know if they can really trust the other one to begin with. And then once the like armor sort of melts away, and you see just like how much they mean to each other and how much the journey is meant to both of them, how much that betrayal hurt both of them. I don't know. It really hit home for me. And again, because of her connection to the whole Dominion War, and because she is Bajoran, and that's very central to a lot of DS9 and a lot of that storyline. And this is connecting right back to that. I thought that was like, there's no, I don't think there's a better character to really bring into it besides maybe
mhm,
Odo, who of course we can't do because he's passed on. But well, the actor has, the character is probably out there somewhere still. But um I don't know. I thought this was brilliant cast, like brilliant writing to bring her back, because of her connections to things. And again, this is coming from a guy who's a very casual observer of Star Trek. I am not by any
mhm,
means a Trekkie, so I'm not like deep into the lore, but seeing those connections really kind of this is what I've been waiting for in this show. If they're going
mhm,
to do a nostalgia based, sort of final send off to these characters, this is the way you do it. This is the way you bring people back, make them meaningful, make them have impact on what's going on. And now she set them on a trajectory of what comes next. She's given
mhm,
them a path to kind of work from. And I don't know, like the fact that it sort of like all connects back to Roe was just a fantastic sort of bit of writing to me, and
mhm.
it's energized me for enjoying the show in a way that like the first four episodes just, it's a complete 180 from everything else that was happening. Like now I'm
Yeah.
engaged. Now I want to know what's going on.
Well, I think you may have enjoyed this episode a bit more than me. I didn't really like or dislike this episode. It was just sort of like it's finally gearing us towards what I'm looking forward to. So it's making me more excited in that respect. But as far as the actual episode, like I understand that it's this emotional thing between Picard and Ro, and that was fine. It was nice, but I didn't like love it or anything. So I'm just no, I'm just psyched for what comes next. That's all I can say. I'm just still thinking about that conference room scene in the trailers. Like I'm not ready for that. Like my heart is not ready for that. Like when they're all at the conference room table talking, like that's gonna send me off into the stratosphere. So, yeah, good episode, I guess. Michelle Forbes, good for her. Still working.
Well,
Always like it when they
she
can
had a really good stint on
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar as a first season, and played pretty much the same character. Maybe a little darker and more sinister, but yeah, she's definitely had a pretty interesting career trajectory, and to see her come back to this was nice. I'm bummed that they've killed her off, or seemingly killed her off.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see any reason why they would bring her back, but again, a vague death. There's always the opportunity to write in a reason why she could come back, but um, it's
I
still a
don't think
bummer to
so.
see her
That's
go, kind of thing. No, I don't think so either. I'm just saying that like there's room for there's wiggle room within that kind of death where you
yeah.
don't see it directly happen, and it's
No,
never
I
officially confirmed. But like for the
yeah.
purposes of the show, she's dead, and it's a bummer to see her go.
I kind of wondered if we weren't going to go on to a different ship. Maybe the Enterprise F. I know I'm kind of obsessed with seeing the Enterprise F, and it's probably just going to show up in a very brief cameo. Like in the shot in the trailer, I went back and found it's just a shot of a bunch of Starfleet ships. So there might be a big battle in the final episode where you see the F briefly, and that might be it.
Well, I think it's probably
But
part of the what's the day they're coming up to celebrate the
oh
Federation?
yeah, the Frontier Day, yeah,
Yeah, I have a
that
feeling it's
might be it.
probably like a parade of ships that they're gonna have fly by kind of
Best case
thing. And
scenario, it's what Geordi shows up on, but I don't know. But I so my thought is yeah, I was wondering if they were going to get on a different ship, if like is that all we're going to see of Shaw, and it's like nope, as soon as we get out of the nebula we're like oh shit, we got to go into hiding and go somewhere else. I hate to curtail this and just talking about our anticipations for the next episode, but the fact that they're now being told don't trust anyone, it was kind of funny because in the first episode Beverly was like don't trust anyone, and he immediately goes to Will Riker, and you can almost see her saying
not
like I
only
said
did
don't trust anyone.
I said this
Go ahead.
before, not only is it like don't trust anyone immediately goes to Will Riker, she gives him a puzzle that he can't possibly solve. He has to go to somebody from the Enterprise crew in order to continue this mission. So he has to
Yeah.
trust somebody, and it's like it still
Yeah.
bugs me. It's not that big of a deal. It happened like 3 episodes ago. No one's even going to remember. But it's like that puzzle to me still kind of irks me. That like
Yeah. And
don't
like
trust
it's gonna
anyone, but
happen
I'm giving
again
you a
because
puzzle
they're
that
like, don't trust anyone. He's gonna go trust Geordi LaForge. Like,
yeah.
but at the same time, like there's this whole thing like the changelings can now mimic everyone down to their organs and blood, but they can't they don't know stuff. So like he could still go to Geordi and be like, Geordi, how did the Enterprise D get blown up? That's right, it was your fault. It's your fucking visor. Okay, so to ask him a question only Jordan knows the answer to, or have his daughter do it. That'd be even better one. But like, yeah, so they can still like get proof of Jordy being Jordy, and that's gonna
Hmm.
happen. And I'm just and Worf joining up and not Crusher, Troy, kind of coming from wherever she is. But
I'm
yeah,
curious how they're
so
going to bring her in because she's only sort of like peripherally been involved, and it's only like
yeah, exactly.
why
She's
like
on what
obviously she's
they
probably going to come running for Riker, but like what situation are they going to set up for that demands that she show up to kind of be part of this? Um, I don't know. I'm curious to see how that works. And again, we're leaving on a note of like they keep mentioning Daystrom, and we want to know what specifically it is at Daystrom that they were so interested in besides this portal gun
Mhm.
weapon. Um, I still have a feeling it's going to be lore. I don't know why they're bringing lore into this, but like if Data and all of the other androids were stationed there, I don't see why lore wouldn't have been disassembled and
Mhm.
put there at some point, and then clearly
Mhm.
somebody's either put him back together or he's escaped somehow. I want to see how he connects to this. Again, still waiting for why the hell they go back to an old plot line with Moriarty,
Moriarty. Yeah, I know you're
what
still
that
bugged
has
about
to
that
do with
Moriarty thing.
everything.
We'll
But like,
we'll see.
I know we'll see, but it's like
I thought that was going to
I
be
want to
when
understand.
Ro has him at gunpoint. She goes, "Get into the holodeck." I thought that's when Moriarty was going to show up.
I had
I have a message. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
like she plugs in Moriarty. She's like, "Look, old friend," but no.
Yeah,
So
I do find it interesting that they had them go in there and he turned off the safety protocols, but nothing came of that. Like
nothing
they
came of
they
that.
they
Yeah.
focus on the like obviously that being sort of a callback to
First contact.
First Contact, how he defeated the Borg in there was, he pulled out
Well,
a Tommy
also
gun
every
and
episode of the Next Generation was like literally like there's something going wrong on the holodeck. The safety protocols are off. We can get killed now.
no, but that was
Like that
always
was
like an
every other
accident. This is
episode.
him deliberately doing that, and I feel like that
Yeah.
is meant to be a callback to his strategy
Mhm.
in First Contact and how he defeated them. And it's like he knows that what's her name, Whoopi Guinan, keeps a gun under
Mhm.
the bar. Usually it's like this ridiculously large, absurd gun that she has in TNG, but this time it's just like a little simple phaser. But still,
Mhm.
I like that plan and I like that callback. I just thought it would have like actually been something, and then it's just this sort of red herring of how much he doesn't trust her kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then Shaw's still a prick.
And he's gonna stay a prick. He's gonna stay there this whole series.
He, I will admit he's growing on me a bit. Um, him whistling in the turbo lift as they're going to turn over Picard and Riker,
Hmm.
and his just utter delight and their downfall was kind of like, can you stop being an asshole just for 3 seconds, please? And no, he can't because it's in his DNA. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place with this episode because there was so much I enjoyed. I'm still really intrigued by what they want Jack Crusher for.
Borg,
Your theory has
Borg,
been the
Borg,
Borg, but
Borg.
I'm starting to wonder if he's a changeling because all of his visions have a very sort of like specific sort of like not just color pattern to it, but um when they were tearing open the and pulling the organs out and they would turn into like red liquid and whatnot. I'm
Hmm.
starting to wonder if he is some sort of hybrid changeling, and that's why he's having these visions. Is that the sort of pool of changelings? I don't know what you call their collective, is
The
like
Great
trying
Length.
to reach sure is trying to reach out to him or something, and that's why he's having these visions. And he's some sort
Hmm.
of like sleeper cell agent. That's why he like keeps having these dreams of him just going into like robot mode and murdering everybody.
Hmm.
And then of course him taking out the four changelings with like absolutely no effort whatsoever at the end. Um, I have a feeling he's more deeply connected to them than is has been shown so far. But I don't know. There's something about the visuals of his dreams that to me feels like it connects to them somehow. And I think if he was some sort of hybrid, that might be part of their plot is like to better integrate into sort of organic society, for lack of a better term, where like we already see them trying to, you know, blend in and not be detected by the measures that they came up with after the Dominion War. And I think this might be even a step further where they just appear entirely human,
Hmm.
even on autopsy. Like if I'm willing to bet if they actually took Jack apart, his organs wouldn't melt like that, but he's still probably partly changeling and doesn't even realize it or something. That's I don't know, that an odd theory that kind of occurred to me when the vision started to occur again. It still could connect to the Borg just because that has such a deep connection to Picard himself, but
It's also the only
um,
thing that I think makes sense. Just like, how is he going to be half changeling? Like, he's like, like, we understand how he's going to be part Borg, but like, how's he going to be part? I mean, so I
well,
still think it has to have to do
a
with.
changeling made themselves look like Picard and got down with Beverly, and she got pregnant.
I don't think that's the way they're going to do it, because that's like that. Why tease Picard has a son for like the whole season, and like, and that's that. Nah, but I don't know, but we'll see. We
Because
will
TNG has always
see.
been about it's always been about the family you choose as opposed to the family that you have. They're a found family of people who've come together. And just because Jack isn't necessarily his biological son, I have a feeling they'll probably connect at some point and find out that maybe he isn't his actual biological son, but they'll still, you know, see each other that way kind of thing. And um I don't know, maybe Beverly dies and Picard is the only sort of family Jack has left kind of thing. And they choose to see themselves as the family they found as opposed to, genetic family or whatnot. I don't know. I'm just
We'll see.
spitballing, throwing out ideas. I would rather it connect to the Borg just because I find the Borg more interesting. But again, we're 5 episodes in, haven't had a hint of the Borg besides, music and little tidbit references to past events. But like you'd think we would have seen something Borg related at this point connecting the two of
Mhm.
them. But I don't know. Still want to know why. Still interested in what's going on, and we'll see what goes from here. But
We shall see. That's all we
yeah,
can say at this point. We shall see. All right, everyone. That's our review of Star Trek Picard 3.5. Cannot wait for 3.6. 666. Uh, let us let us know what you think in the comments below, and leave your thoughts and questions. And of course, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know what you thought. I think I already say that. Whatever. I'm having diarrhea of mouth now. Anyway, until next time, I'm Ryan Murphy,
And I'm James Sheridan
and thank you for keeping it real.
with Real Time. Good night.